What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Trout Wrangler Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Garrity. Today, we got another guy from the great state of Florida today. So, don't really have any opening remarks today. So, I'll kick it over to you to introduce yourself, Javi.
Hey, appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, so I'm Javi from Marsh Sessions. Yeah, here we are. Just we're all about community and having a good time.
Hell yeah. So, let's start from the beginning of your fishing and outdoor journey. When did you start
Okay.
fishing and hunting? And did that start somewhere else, or have you always been in Southeast Florida?
No, so no. So I was born and raised in Panama, Panama City, Panama, and half American. I just never lived in the States till I was 20. So I moved up here to finish college. I went to FSU down in Panama, and they've been there for years. But back then, you could only do 2 years, and you had to transfer to the States. Um, Preferably anywhere in Florida. And so, anyways, I ended up here in Jacksonville and go into the University of North Florida because I realized I could just live at the beach, drive 4 miles to
Yeah.
campus.
That's where my uncle went.
Yeah, see?
Swoop.
UNF. Yeah, right. They say you never finished, but I finished. Um, it might have taken 5 years, but I did. But no, I started fishing as a kid in Panama. So, whether it was like surf fishing or, like jungle fishing for like peacocks, like inside the Panama Canal. It's a really interesting fishery because Gatun Lake is, I think at one point was like the largest man-made lake in the world. I don't know if it's that anymore, but it's kind of like the intercoastal. It's brackish, right? So there's like tarpon, there's giant ladyfish, there's really big jacks in there, there's Oscars, there's peacock bass. It's like kind of like Jurassic Park. And so we started doing that there. And then my dad's older brother, who's basically like our second dad, he was always in the wing shooting. So we did a lot of duck hunts down there and stuff, sitting in rice paddies and whatnot.
Oh,
But it's
heck
very
yeah.
different than duck hunting here. It's hot as shit. And the ducks that evade, every duck hunter from North America make it down there, and they don't have much meat on
Yeah.
after they've flown that long.
Dude, it's like I tried duck hunting in the state of Florida a couple times right when I got back from like North Carolina. I got out of college. I went to East Carolina, so I was hunting
Yeah,
Hyde County like every weekend if we wanted to. I got there and I got here and then down to Florida. I'm like, man, I was like, I'm sweating my ass off out here. I'm
yeah,
like,
and it's tough too. Like here, like Northeast Florida, like our, yes, we have ducks here, but it's like the juice isn't worth the squeeze in my opinion. But then
yeah,
folks like Travis Thompson and like Duck Ranching and like Easy and those guys got it pretty dialed in. But it's a haul. It's a 3 hour drive, 4 hour drive. It's
yeah.
a mission basically.
Oh yeah, and then I think a lot of those guys too, like especially the Space Coast guys.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna going out the place. But even there, like I went scouted all that stuff down in I call it the jungle, and it's like, dude, there's so many hunters down there to where it's like
yeah,
if I end up throwing like my kayak in here or like walking out somewhere, I'm gonna be getting swing duck shot over my head, and
yeah.
I'm gonna be getting peppered. And it's like I dealt with that a lot when I got back from college here, sitting in like walk-in spots, and I was just like, man, I'm like, might as well just go and start skeet shooting because it's like
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not gonna go out there sleep in the duck blind and end up having some jamoke come over and sit 5 feet from me and shoot ducks over
Right.
my head.
Yeah, no, it's a mission, man. But dude, there are people who obviously put the time in, and
Yeah,
like the other day at the Bahia event, I finally met Nick Clark, and I mean he's just a great outdoorsman and just in general.
yeah,
But I feel like when it comes to duck hunting, like down in like that Mims area, whatever, like where he lives, like dude, they just crush it. But they
yeah,
put the time in, like I unfortunately don't have the that amount of time with like the kids and like my real job and stuff. So I'm like, I'm good
yeah,
on the
dude.
scouting piece.
But what's crazy is I remember vividly remember being down there. I think, dude, it was like Youth Day, and they're down there, and some kid walks out of the woods over there, down in Mims, the whole area down there, and I was like, "How'd y'all boys do today?" He's like, "Oh, we killed some pintail," and I was like, "Dude, I've been walking around here with a pair of binoculars for freaking 2 weeks looking for a damn duck in this state."
Yeah,
And I didn't even see I didn't even see a flock of wood ducks.
right.
So I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh my gosh. But dude, the people that have it dialed in down there,
They put the time in,
they
man.
put the time in
That's
or
it.
dialed,
Right.
and they're just good at it. And like
Correct.
Easy's one of those guys, man. Like
He
I've
doesn't sleep
never
for
seen
whatever it is, 72
I've
days.
never seen a dude post more pictures of ducks in the state of Florida than him. I swear.
Yeah, man. And dude, there's also people like Captain Chris Herrera. Um, that guy, back in the day, man, that guy would drive to like Saskatchewan and just hunt his way home.
Yeah.
Like all 70 days of ducks, he was like, I'm out. See ya. Which is
Yeah.
awesome. But again, back to your point, you gotta put the time in.
Yeah. That's like what a lot of my buddies and I have started doing. It's like I win. I remember the first season I was back here. I was like, boys, I was like, honestly, I was like hunting around here. Like I'm in Charlotte. It's like there are more
Yeah.
hunters than there is water to hunt around here. And I looked him in the eyes and I was like, man, I was like, if we want to actually kill ducks, we're gonna have to nut up and drive to like Arkansas or
You just have to
Kansas.
do it. Yeah.
You just have to do it. Or we can go and sit in the same spots an hour down the road, waste gas, sweat our balls off, and then still not even kill ducks and be like, well, guys, well, what are we doing wrong? No, you gotta
Well,
spend the money and go to Kansas.
100%, man. And I think you also get to a point in your life, like right now, dude. Like I'm 45. I have a career. Yeah, I'm trying to grow Marsh sessions. Luckily it's growing at a easy pace where like I can kind of handle everything.
Yeah,
My wife keeps me organized with like merch and stuff like that. But like, dude, like I'm the biggest fan of guides. I do not mind paying a guide. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So like, I would love to go to Arkansas because I've never done that. But I'm like, give me the best outfitter. Like I'm there.
yeah,
Because you get to a point where it's like, yeah, like exploring and DIYing is fun, and that's. But I just don't have the time, right? So it's like if I get like 3 to 4 days away from the family, like, dude, I'm walking on, walking off.
yeah.
Yeah,
So, and that's the most effective way to do it. If it's like, I
hundred
actually want to
percent.
go and kill birds or catch fish and stuff like that. Guess
Oh
what?
yeah,
I'm gonna go pay a guide to put me on
that's
a
it.
tarpon or something like that. But it's like, yeah, that
1,000%.
DIY is fun, but it's like at the end of the day, we all just like catching fish.
Yeah,
but
it's a time thing, man.
oh yeah, I know. Oh wait, I said Florida's the single best state for outdoor recreation other than fishing and hunting. What other recreational activities do you participate in?
So I I guess like I love surfing. It's like the first thing I ever did. So I think I've been surfing for about 36 years or something now. So that's something that I still do. And then ultimately, I mean, like quail. Like I have a little boykin, and man, I just love getting out there with her and just really watching her work. It's kind of funny. Like I feel like as the years go on and she gets better at hunting, I feel like I shoot less and less birds because I just like here you guys shoot. I'll just work my dog.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, like I going out to the hunt club here up in Callahan is just it's like a Saturday morning thing. Like I've already basically booked every single Saturday morning for the rest of the season and in 2026 for quail because that's like my other thing. I just love it, dude.
oh yeah. You
Yeah,
like your boykin,
I do. Yeah, she's great.
dude?
It's funny because like I got her like she wasn't expensive. Like when I was like doing my research, man, like all these breeders were like, oh yeah, like $4,000 or I'm like, dude, no, I just want a dog. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And I found this breeder, Boykin Spaniel Plantation. This was 2019, I guess, at this point. I picked her up in 2020. Um, sorry, in 2019. And she was like $1,200. I was like, I'll take it. And I
yeah,
swear, I mean, like, she like I sent her off to like obedience training for like 3 months. I did the field work myself. I'm no pro, so she like when she brings birds to me, like she dumps them in my boots 99% of the time. She doesn't like sit, heel, and give me and I don't care because again, like we're just out there having fun. But it's kind of funny. She came with like an on and off switch. Like in the field, she's a fucking beast and
yeah,
just won't quit. And then she gets home and we bathe her and she goes straight to the couch. Or like
yeah.
during the off season, she's like down here in my office, and I work in a 9x11 shoebox here at home. So, it's kind of crazy how like I don't know, she has an on and off switch. Is the
Dude,
best
see,
way I can describe it.
that's like that's very rare for a boykin. I think
Oh yeah,
every other dude I know that has hunted with a boykin, and we had a
mm-hmm.
buddy in college that hunted with a boykin, and that dog, if it wasn't hunting, it was like wanting to
Going
hunt.
ape shit. Yeah,
Yeah, going nuts, just like
yeah,
running circles. That's pretty
yeah.
cool though. Did
I
you get the
lucked
boykin
out.
in South Carolina?
No, I got her at the Boykin Spaniel Plantation in Georgia,
Oh,
like
cool.
maybe 20 minutes southeast of Hinesville, kind of in that not so much like Savannah area, but just southwest of there.
Okay.
Yeah, super cool family. They breed Boykins and they breed those fancy dogs like something Cavalier.
Oh, King Cavaliers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fancy lapdog. Yeah, but no,
Yeah,
they're
fancy.
they're a great family, and I mean their prices were right, and or their price was right, and I think they still are. Honestly, they don't charge a lot for dogs in the grand scheme of things, but they breed good dogs, and I think for like the weekend warriors like me, like dude, she does everything I want her to do, and I don't have any complaints. You know,
Oh yeah. That's all you can really ask out of a really bird dog, you know.
100%, man. You
Just
know,
go out, perform, pick
that's
up the
it.
birds, bring them back, and then get
Yeah,
back
don't
to the
make me
house
walk. We're
and
good.
just be cool.
Yeah, that's it, dude.
But I know when people think about like fishing in Florida, they
Hmm.
automatically go to like Miami, Florida Keys,
Right.
or the Space Coast. But like completely breeze over that awesome fishery you guys have,
Yeah.
Jacksonville, Amelia Island,
Yep.
everywhere up around there in that southeast Florida area,
Hmm.
and they just breeze over it. Like, how awesome is that fishery, and how does it differ from those ones above, like your
Man, like
Space Coast and stuff like that?
yeah, like art. It's funny. I've never fished a lagoon, and Easy and I were talking about this the other day. He's like, "When are you coming down?" I'm like, "ASAP, dude. Like, I'm trying, do my
Yeah,
best." But I do want to go fish with them. But I mean, I think our fishery is really, really awesome. I mean, like, we've struggled. I feel like the CCA dumped like 10,000 redfish over in Mayport, like 2021, maybe 2022, and I swear it's made a difference. When I started really fly fishing in 2013, 14, I remember you walk up to like or pull up to any grass flat and there was just happy tailors, fish slurping. I mean, they were everywhere.
yeah,
Obviously there wasn't the amount of, I think, fly anglers and flood tide anglers that there are now. But I do recall seeing like a decline, man. Like it was hard. Like you show up to like a grass flat, just wouldn't see anything. You move, still wouldn't see anything. And
yeah.
now I feel like it's been really good. This year in particular, like I fished the old Marsh Bub and I, we fish a lot together. We fished the May floods, which here it's really rare when it floods in May, but when it does, we're like, you got to go. And most of the time, you're not going to find fish because it's just too early for our flood season. And man, they were fired up. They were tailing during the day, and right before dark, they were slurping like they usually do, and they were participating. It was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think our fishery has made a comeback, for sure. From I don't know, there was just a couple like 3 to 4 years that I'm like, what's going on around here?
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I remember we went out to Amelia Island one
Yeah.
year because it's like when my grandparents lived in the villages. We go down there for like Thanksgiving, and then on the way back up, we'd stop in either Amelia Island or Hilton Head or something like that.
Hmm.
And I was in there that fly shop Amelia Island Angler.
Oh yeah, I've
Is
never
it
been, but
still
I've heard.
there?
I don't know.
Dude, like they were like, yeah, man, like our fisheries kind of declined. Like it's
Yeah.
just it hasn't really been here that the last few years. And you're like, huh? That's like, damn. Like you think of Florida, and you're like, you can go out catch a big red or like a big tarpon anywhere. But it's like I feel
Yep.
like people have that kind of like false thought, where it's like
It is, man.
it's still a fishery that is you got to work for them.
For sure. And you got to think, man, like redfish get hammered, right?
Oh
Every
yeah,
single guide, bay boats, skiffs, spin fly, whatever you're targeting, redfish. I think it's mostly just be responsible, right? Like there are limits. Like I personally never keep a redfish because, truth be told, I love redfish and I literally would rather throw them back, go to Publix and get a ribeye, you know.
yeah,
But I think it's just a sense of responsibility. That's all it is, man. You just got to be responsible. It's not that hard.
oh yeah. But I know this is like a fishing podcast and stuff like that, but let's talk about like the public hunting opportunities in Florida. Like we were just talking about
Yeah.
it a second ago, man. I think Florida did an absolutely awesome job with how they set up their like WMAs and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And I think they're up there. Like South Carolina is obviously like another one, but
Yep.
like Florida just did an absolutely unbelievable job with that whole WMA system. How they do it, where there's some that you need to have like
Yep.
a permit
You got to
or
win the
like a
tag. Yeah, you
draw
got to win the
hunt
lottery.
in the
Yep.
lottery thing. I just think that's really cool because it is a way where it cuts down on just that pressure. But do you personally hunt the WMAs and not like which ones do you kind of tend to
I
lean
don't.
towards? No.
Honestly, I don't. Only because like I'm a member at Broom Sage Quail Plantation. Obviously, we don't
Okay.
have wild quail enough for everybody to hunt, as you know. I do have a buddy. He's British. Danny. He does run. He lives down in St. Augustine. There's a WMA just west of there. He does run his Brittany in there for like wild birds. And I still know like a couple of people who are like I wouldn't say purists, but they're all about like the wild game situation. I just look at the fact that like I don't have a pointer and I also don't own a horse. So it's like, again, I have limited time. So I just don't have the time to go out there. And like, I think if we lived in a place like Thomasville, where maybe you had access to not necessarily public land, but like you had like a higher concentration of like wild birds, I think it would be different. But again, like I'm at that point in my life where it's like, I got 3 kids, I got my family, I got responsibility. So it's like, the 3 to 4 hours that I can get from a hall pass, I'm taking full advantage of it. So,
Yeah.
planted birds it is, But again,
Yeah,
for
dude.
me, it's more so like I just love to watch, uh, the dog work. I love to watch the pointers. I like watching Dixie like on her point sit, get released on command. But also like my kids, man. Like my kids are, like they love to go out. Well, my 2 little ones. My oldest one just likes to shop and take naps. But the little ones, like they love getting out there, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
teaching them about that and stuff. And then also seeing like, this past year was probably the better quail season that I can remember in many years because for one, every Saturday morning we had like crisp cold weather. It's awesome, like 40
Yeah.
degrees. Couldn't get any better. Wrap up the hunt, set up the little, bourbon bar, have a couple of bourbons after the hunt, talk it
Oh
over,
yeah.
whatever. But then also we had a lot of first timers, man. They're like, um, for example, Justin from Sorco's Outfitters, he actually bought like a 1-year-old Boykin. We didn't know if it was, conditioned to hunt or whatever. We're like, bring the dog out, whatever. The dog did great. And obviously his thing is mostly like using Bennett to go um for marsh hens, right? Like cast and blast charters
Yeah.
that they offer, but the dog did great. And I'm like, dude, like next quail season, it'll be ready. Like dogs learn from dogs. Like I'm a firm believer in that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, like this year was one of those where it's just like we had a lot of like newer people out there, and it was just fun to watch them get into it and like realize that quail fly faster than anything they do.
Yeah. Dude, that is
So,
always really cool to see. Like, you have a buddy that hasn't, like, say, duck hunted before or, like, fly
100%.
fished before. Just watching that kind of like that person catch their first fish, shoot their first quail or marsh hen, something like that, first duck, deer. It's
Yeah,
just cool to see. And
we do. We do a trip
celebrating those
to,
times with your buddies is just part of it.
dude. You can't. Yeah, like that right there is priceless. And like I was thinking about like what else can we do? What else can we do? So I think this year I'm going to. I've been in the process of like buying like this outdoor bar. Like I got like my director chairs, like safari style shit.
Yeah.
And so I think this year what we're gonna incorporate is like because I post on Mondays and Fridays. And so I think on Wednesdays I may start doing like the field bar dispatch, right?
Yeah.
Like take a bottle of bourbon, have a couple of bourbons, taste it, give us your feedback. How was the hunt? That kind of shit. Like
Yeah.
nothing professional, just iPhone, a tripod, be done with
Yeah.
it. So yeah, man. But it's like for me, it's like that's like we have this there's this place there's this corner called the Bourbon Corner that we call over at Broom Sage, and we always kind of like set up our trucks there or whatever. And it's just like I've taken a couple of photos that I've posted on the Instagram, but like in the morning it's like perfect for like film, like Kodak 200 or like any like under 400 ISO film just comes out really really great. So
Yeah.
anyways, the Bourbon Corner is going to be the spot for the field bar dispatch for next season, so
That's gonna be pretty sweet, dude.
yeah, man.
Honestly, I was like, I was to say, you guys don't have any dudes deer hunting down there, do you?
Not here, man. So my brother owns a property in South Carolina in Hampton County,
Oh,
and
cool.
they have monsters in his property.
Oh,
And
damn.
I'm not a big deer hunter. I like to go to the hunt camp and like drink bourbon and barbecue
Yeah.
while they go sit in a stand. But the they I think they have like the most deer per square mile or some shit in South Carolina. So it's like they have a pretty high amount of tags and stuff. But
Yeah.
that aside, they have like monster like low country bucks.
Yeah.
So any kind of deer, whatever like happens up there. I'm not much of a deer hunter myself, so
Yeah. That's what,
um,
dude. One of our traditions is like I have a group of guys like we just we all went to college together, or like we all went to high school or college together. We
yeah,
have this little group we've been calling ourselves the Buck Bandits for a while. And whoever kills their first deer and their first
yeah.
buck, we cut the balls off it and make him wear them around his neck to a restaurant.
There's your
Drink
trophy.
beer, do like people have stared at us in like a very public
That's awesome.
restaurant They're like, dude, what's on your neck? He's like, deer balls.
Yeah, it's like, don't
They're
worry,
like,
this is
what
a
the
tradition.
fuck?
You're not involved. Like, be
Yeah,
respectful.
yeah.
That's funny,
But
man.
this is my next question. We can
Yeah,
spend as long as you want talking about this because I know it's a pretty big problem going on right now. We talked about it a little
yeah,
bit earlier, but I know a lot of positives come from population growth and development in the state of Florida,
yeah.
but like there's also an absolutely brutal part of that. And personally, I think we've all seen it, and it's kind of coming to fruition more and more every day that we see what's going on with, say, like the public land, even not even in Florida, but out west, what they're
Hmm.
doing right now.
Yeah, trying to sell public
Um,
land to play debt or something.
yeah,
I didn't read
dude,
into it too
which
much, but
like
yeah,
over the last year, there's been a lot of chatter about building golf courses, prisons, pickleball stuff on land in some like very, very beautiful state parks in the state of Florida.
right.
For people that are from other states, kind of on the outside looking in, like explain how much doing something like that can affect an ecosystem in any given area. Not even
I
like
mean, it
here.
like, dude, I'm no like scientist or like marine biology, but it's like I feel like you don't have to be like any of that to understand like the effects. Like for
Right.
example, like the guana issue we had here a couple of months ago. That was serious, right? And like like you can't take away from guana. Like it was set aside for it to be wild forever, right? For every like our kids to enjoy it, and that's what it is. And it's just nobody's business to go in there and try to say like, oh well, like spin the story. That's not what we meant by that, and all this other stuff. But it's like it's just crazy to me that like you know like I mean on A18 and Michler's like the amount of people that were out there with like their signs and stuff like dude like you got to keep guana wild like it was meant to be that. But I mean, I don't know. Like again, like I'm not a politician. I'm none of that. But it's like I think it's just like a mix of a lot of stuff. It's like you know, vested interest from the developer that obviously sees beautiful land and potential to flip that right for a lot of
Right.
money, right? Who knows who they've donated to on the political side of things, right? And because that's just how politics work. Like you donate, you get what you want, right? And the more you donate, the more they kind of like you. And then there's just like the coincidences, or they're not a coincidence. The fact that Nicholas is the head of the FWC. Again, I'm not a politician, but I'm just over here observing, like on the side, and I'm like, this doesn't add up, right?
You're right.
So I think it's just a lack of responsibility again, because that's all like again, like Miami is like super populated, and granted, Miami's had big population influxes from like Cuba, for example, back in the day, Venezuela after they had their issues, however many years ago that was now, right? But when you look at Miami on a map, it's not a big place. It's
No.
actually rather small, right? And so it's like you can only do so much with land or with what you have to work with before you're like, oh, we'll just take a little sliver off the Everglades, or we'll just take a little bit of guana. We only want 600 acres. We didn't want that much.
All right.
But it's not that. It's like you just know you're not going to get any of it, right? Figure
Right.
it out. Um, but anyways, I mean, over here, like I don't, I live in Jacksonville Beach, so I don't really go in town a lot unless I'm going like out of town hunting or to the airport.
All
But
right.
it is kind of wild when I drive like towards like I guess the southwest, and you have to go through what's known as Nocatee and all that, or this what they're calling E Town now, and I'm like, holy shit! Like there was pine trees there 2 weeks ago or
Yeah.
6 months ago when I drove through there, and now it's like, holy shit! Like there's just more people coming, right? And like here in Jacks Beach, like we have this place over there called Adventure Landing, and it's been there since I moved here. So I moved here in 2000, I think. Um, and it's basically like an arcade. It's a water park, whatever.
Yeah.
They have like little putt putt golf, like standard stuff like that, right?
Like go
And
karts and all that.
yeah, and for years they've it's been sold. Like last I understood, it's been sold, and they just keep pushing this like project. Well, the project is apartment buildings, and so basically 400 people can live there. So 400 people times two is 800 cars,
Yeah.
right? We don't. I don't know where they're going to fit because like there's already like the traffic here is insane,
Oh yeah.
right? So it's like, but and I think that again, I don't know where we are in the process as like the city of Jack's Beach with that project, but it's like, dude, like where do these people fit going forward? I
Right.
don't know, right? So, but it's just a matter of that.
I
Um,
think
you know,
we're going through similar problems here in Charlotte,
yeah.
North Carolina, and our traffic, dude. Like we live off of
It got a
What's
little
up,
hot in here.
dog? How you doing?
Here, you gotta put that in your hair.
What's up, buddy?
See what's up, Mr.
Hi.
Ryan.
How you doing, man?
Good.
We're talking a
You're
little
live on a
fishing and
podcast.
hunting here. You got anything to say?
Um,
What do you guys say?
go LSU.
Go
Go
LSU.
LSU.
There you
Hey,
go.
we
Go
can. We can.
Tigers.
Oh man, come on.
No, wait.
Hey,
You're talking to you, man.
we
Hey, look at this. I don't know,
we
man.
got.
Good.
I'm a Georgia fan, but LSU baseball is good.
Yeah.
But when it comes football season, I'm not a huge LSU guy. If only I did like the Coach O era of LSU at football, but
We're
man,
not.
you a Joe Burrow guy if you're an LSU fan?
Not really.
Not really. You're not a Joe Burrow guy.
Yeah. BTJ.
Yeah, BTJ.
Okay, yeah, we like BTJ. Brian Thomas, I got him on one of my
That's it.
fantasy teams.
Go
That's
Jags.
Go Jags. Let's go. You like Travis Hunter? You like that pickup?
I feel
The
like
answer
we
is
caught
yes.
it. I feel like we caught a gunner for Ashton JT. He was robbed of the Heisman.
He was. Ashton Jinty. All right, I like that. I like that take because I completely agree with you. Ashton Jinty was robbed of the Heisman. 100%. You're a smart kid, man.
Mhm.
I like that take. I like that take.
Get an AirPod back.
All right, see ya.
See you. Nice talking to you, buddy. That was a great take because
That's all.
I thought the same thing.
Yeah, dude, this kid's funny, man. Like my grandmother went to LSU and the College World Series when LSU beat Wake Forest was like 3 years ago or something.
Yeah,
We were in Orange Beach and this kid loves baseball. And
I do too.
all of a sudden he's like, I'm gonna go to LSU. I'm like, I totally support this. I was like, you do that, I will buy a fish camp. Like,
Yeah.
So
You spend a lot on football tickets, and like my little
Yeah.
sister went to UGA, so it's like we spent Saturdays, and my girlfriend and I spent a few Saturdays in Athens the last few years, dude. There is nothing like an SEC.
It's wild, dude.
It's nothing
yeah.
like it.
All of my wife's cousins. My wife went to Georgia Southern, but three of her cousins, her brother and her sister, went to Georgia.
Dude,
And
yeah,
my father went to
Athens is
Georgia.
unbelievable.
It's wild, man.
Yeah, and then they had the biggest cocktail party in America. It used to come there every year. Now they're sending it somewhere else for the
Oh yeah, because of the stadium situation here.
yeah, the stadium.
I think it's still happening this year.
Yeah.
I think
this is the last
it's
year.
still yeah for till like 27, I think, or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's one thing, dude. I'm waiting for college football season to come so much, dude. I love it.
They're my favorite, dude. Like, I mean, I'll watch the Jaguars play because I love the Jags.
Yeah.
But like, in the NFL is always on in my house on Sundays. But I don't do fantasy. I really don't care about the NFL after the Jags play.
Yeah.
But college football is like
King.
Saturdays are different.
Dude, it's like that's right there. If you once you get under like Virginia, it's just like college football is king.
That's why we do quails or quail at Broomstage Saturday mornings early, so we get home by 1 latest, you know.
Yeah, it's like that's what like it's nice during deer season because it's like I'm out of the woods and I'm back right in time for college game
That's
day.
it. Yeah,
And I do like it's awesome. That's my favorite time of the year. It's like you get home. I usually get like a call from my parents or my brother, like, "Hey, you want to meet somewhere and watch some college football?" And then it turns into like, "You want to meet somewhere we're staying somewhere all day and
that's
hammering multiple buckets of beer." I'm sitting there watching the entire slate of games.
Yeah, man. Saturdays in the South, people. It's funny because like I my company's based in New York City, and it's just hard to like when I work up there, they don't like they don't get it. I'm like, come to the South on a Saturday during football season.
Yeah. Dude, it's nuts, and it's like that's only one big thing. It's like on my podcast, I do the Rise Flies parlay on Saturdays in the fall, where it's like my Friday show. I'll spend like the last couple minutes, and I'll make picks. Dude, it was a disaster last year. People were like DMing me, being like, "Dude, that fucking parlay sucked." Like,
I'm doing my best, man.
I was like, "Hey, I thought Virginia Tech was gonna cover."
Whoops.
Yeah, exactly. But dude, I think we'll get back to what we were just talking about. I love getting off on that tangent.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, like the overdevelopment, like it's an issue, it's a concern, obviously. But I mean, I don't know, man. Like it's I just kind of leave that stuff up to like my buddy, like Travis Thompson, for example, he heads up All Florida Org. Like he's constantly in Tallahassee doing what they do, kind of thing. Like I don't want to sit over here and like Monday quarterback these situations, but I mean it's a problem, dude. You know, it really truly is.
Oh yeah, 100% is. I think it's a problem like almost really in the whole Southeast right now. Where it's
100%.
like, I think a big thing that we're seeing recently is politics getting more involved in our outdoor like in everybody's recreation, you know.
Right.
And I feel like that's one thing that shouldn't be mixed is recreation and politics, because I
Yeah,
just think
that's
it's like
the world we live in, man.
exactly it's like mixing, it's like drinking beer before liquor. I
That's
mean,
right. Yeah, 100%.
other than I mean, drinking beer before liquor from the age of like 18 to 20 years old, I should say. I think some people can drink beer before liquor and be okay after
Yeah.
21 years old, but it's like I'd say it's like drinking six Coors Lights and then turning a fifth of bourbon upside down.
Moving on to the Four Locos.
Yeah, yeah, it's like drinking six Four Locos.
There
It's
you
just
go.
a disaster. It's not going to end well.
No, it's not.
But it's like I see it everywhere, man. Like there's a big thing in Raleigh today where like, have you seen the whole thing about the shrimp
I have
trawling
not.
in North
No,
Carolina?
I haven't, dude.
Dude, like I haven't really
If it's
done.
news from this week, I've been like slammed. It's only Tuesday.
Yeah,
So,
it's a big thing, like shrimp trawling in North Carolina. I'm not like educated enough on it to. My buddy sent me a thing about it, and he was like, "My
yeah,
girlfriend's all up in arms about this. You know anything about it?" And I looked at it. I was like, "I don't know shit about that, buddy. Like,
yeah,
I can't make a good can't make like a good educated decision on it, you know."
right.
But it's like I did my research, and I was like, you know, this is kind of fucked up, but at the same
Like
time, it's
most of those
like
things are.
it goes through. People are losing like people are losing flounder, like juvenile reds and stuff are getting caught in those trawl nets and stuff. It's just a clusterfuck on both sides. But
It really is, dude. I mean, like I know, like the state of Georgia, like my good buddy Jared DeVinson, he owns on the Fly Outfitters, and
yeah,
then Chad Dubois, like they're both on the board of the Georgia Saltwater Anglers Association. I mean, they're constantly fighting the state about redfish and
yeah,
you know the limits and that kind of stuff. But it's like even if they were to say like, okay, we're just going to shut it down, right?
yeah.
Like you still have to like stay on them because it's just otherwise they're just going to do what they're going to do. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
shit. Just look at like the CC in Louisiana, or just look at Louisiana in general, dude. Like the fact that you can keep that many trout per boat per day is insanity. The
it's
fact that you're
wild.
allowed to kill bull redfish in the state of Louisiana is wild to me. But you know they're gonna do what they're gonna do.
Oh yeah, I think that those on the fly guys. That's who you met, Sean and Sean and McCooch through, wasn't that where they had
Yeah,
that
I
like
met Lewis there. I
yeah
met Lewis McCooch through him. I met Sean honestly on the internet and like on Instagram.
yeah
And I invited him down to a Marsh Fest. I was like, "Hey, dude, we'd love to have you if you want to come set up a booth." You know, he's like,
yeah
"What is that?" I'm like, "Just a bunch of vendors, a bunch of people, and Marsh Sessions Lager and good times and live music and whatever." And he was like, "Shit, I'm there." And so he came. That was last fall for the first time. And so
yeah
we do two Marsh Fests, right? So we do the fall Marsh Fest. I partner on that one with Historic Coast Outfitters,
yeah
and then Lauren from North Carolina Outpost. And North Carolina Outpost is a really rad shop down on the corner of Michler's and A1A. And they own the land, which is like 3 acres, and they own the building. And it's like North Carolina Outpost is primarily like a paddleboard shop.
yeah.
But they basically sell all the brands that we know of in the fly fishing world. And then they have like a little nook in there where they sell flies, they sell, leader material, soft plastics, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And they sell frozen bait. And anyways, they've always done events, and they've always been very supportive of, our community and stuff. So the Fall Marsh Fest is there. And that one's usually in November. This year, the date we were kind of allotted was November 1st, but then we quickly realized that that's the day after Halloween. It's just not going to work.
Yeah.
So what we're thinking is, I'll tell you the date right now, actually, because it's one of those dates I just can't remember. We're looking at the weekend of Friday the 23rd of January, leading into the 24th on that Saturday.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is basically on Friday, we're going to do a sporting clays tournament. and then followed by like probably like live music at the Jack Sporting Clays place. And then on Saturday we're going to do more like an oyster roast type of like later afternoon into the evening, live music, oyster roast,
Oh, that's awesome.
vendors, skiffs, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Cool,
And then
dude.
in the spring, and then in the spring I release Marsh Sessions Lager, which looks something like this.
I think I
This is the
saw
can.
some of that.
You saw it, yeah.
Yeah. Is that the
That was
one
done
that
by Off the Grid John.
off the grid John did?
Yeah.
The logo.
Yep. And so I partnered with Ink Factory Brewing, which is like literally like 10 blocks up that way here in Jack's Beach. And we do a smaller version of Marsh Fest in their parking lot. So we limit it to 26 vendors only because it's just like space. We did 30 last year and it was just it was way too crazy.
Yeah.
So I limited it to 26, but instead of having instead of having the extra 4 tents, I added 6 skiffs on the other side of the fence.
Yeah.
Which is pretty neat to see, like Eastcape, like Beavertail was there, Thompson was there, Simple Skiffs was there, and I'm missing one, and I apologize, I can't remember who the other one was. So what we're doing is that brewery basically ends on what's known as 6th Street. And so the city, basically, we're going to put into the city to let us to get the approval to shut down 6th Street from stop sign to stop sign. So then on the other side of 6th Street, we can have more skiffs. So like Eastcape was like, hey, can we bring the bay boat? And I'm like, I wish, but it just doesn't fit. So, we can accommodate for like that kind of stuff. So anyways, yeah. And so that's kind of what we do.
That's pretty cool,
and
dude.
So that's how I met Sean. Basically, I was like, come down to Marsh Fest. And now he's like, just, like a staple. Like, right?
Yeah, dude.
Because
he told me, he sent me a text after I had him on. He was like, dude, reach out to Javi, reach out to Florida Man-Made, Jaden. And then like 3 other guys. And I was like, say less, dude. I was like, I just like getting good people on, dude. But it's like, you guys sound like you have an awesome like community, guys. There's like a really tight community of all those fishermen in Florida.
And like that really makes me happy, man, because like basically like what happened here is that when I started fly fishing in 2013, 2014 or so, we had Black Fly Outfitter that was owned by Von Cochran, right?
Yeah.
And then Von Cochran basically sold the shop, sold it to Strike Zone Fishing. So, and Strike Zone has been there for years. And so basically when it was Black Fly, they used to have this thing called the Flood Tide Festivals every September, centered around a flood tide. And that was like my first taste of like the industry. Like Sims would bring the giant Sims bus, and Paul Puckett was there with the old Flood Tide bus.
Yeah.
There was always some kind of like conservation, organization there. The rod companies were there, casting, whatever, right? Like reels. And all of a sudden, Strike Zone just decided not to do, the Flood Tide Festival. And then I think the last one was maybe like 2018, 2019. And then COVID happened. So obviously nobody was doing anything.
Yeah.
And then I guess like a couple of years ago, I was like, dude, we need to bring this back. So, and I think I think at a fly tying night there at Strike Zone. So Strike Zone does this giant tent sale every year, and like they take over like the whole parking lot, and I mean that's a huge event anyways for them, which is awesome. But they just weren't too keen on bringing back the Flood Tide Festival. So I was like, all right, cool, no worries. So I met Justin from Historic Coast, and he just so happened he was launching Historic Coast that fall, and this was like probably like June or July, and I'm like, dude, I got an idea. We should bring back this. What used to be a Flood Tide Festival, rename it, figure it out. And he's like, I'm in. And I'm like, awesome. So then we're like, where do we do this? And we're like, okay. I was like, oh, Cedar Point Boat Ramp. Everybody, like it's kind of like out there. It's pretty wild. And they're like, oh, wait, you can't just drink beer there without permits. So then I was like, I have an idea. Let me call Lauren from North Corner Outpost and see what happens. And so she was like, come by Wednesday. So we went on the following Wednesday. Dude, we left there with a date, somewhat of a plan. And it was mostly like, all right, Lauren, you call your vendors, because she sells like Smith and Costa and Marshware and like the beer companies. And I was like, all right, Justin, you call your people, I'll call my people, and we'll figure it out. And if we have if we get 10 vendors and like 25 people to show up, like success.
Yeah.
And holy shit, dude, we had like the first one was like 47. Oh, and then I went over to Ink Factory because I know those guys since college, and we surfed together. And I was like, dude, all right, we have a plan. Can you either donate beer or sell it to us at cost, because all the money from the beer, whatever, is going to go towards conservation.
Yeah.
And so we're like selling cups, and it's a fucking great deal. It's like $25, and it's all you can drink beer. Like, it's kind of a no brainer.
Dude,
and it's just raises money for conservation. Yeah, it's great. And so, anyways, and so we had the beer, we had the the Shark Bite Oyster Sam from down in New Smyrna Beach. We had them as for oysters. We had a food truck, and we had kind of a plan. And next thing you know, dude, we had 47 vendors and something like 400 people rolled through the door. We're like, holy shit. So they're like, all right. And so that was October of 2023. And then Ink Factory rings me and they're like, hey man, can you come to the marketing meeting? I was like, sure. So I go over there. I'm like, what's going on? They're like, we should make a Marsh Sessions beer. And I'm like, oh, great. I don't know anything about beer, but it sounds good to me. and then like, we'll do a beer release party. And I'm like, sounds fantastic. Let's do it. And so my buddy Ty came up with this recipe. It was like this jackfruit conditioned lager. Like I'm just a big believer that friends don't let friends drink IPAs. So I apologize to all the IPA drinkers, but we simply don't do that. And so then we got off the grid job to do the can. And then that event was kind of crazy too. We had 30 vendors, a few skiff companies came by, and that was somewhere upwards like 600 people. Then we had Marsh Fest again over at North Carolina Outpost. And that one was also, same thing, right? Like limit the vendors, change up like the layout. It was almost like a skiff show, which was really cool. We had like 8 skiffs at that point, which was really neat. Again, that grew to almost, 600 and change, like same thing, 700 people. And then we went back to Ink April 26th. And that one was like, dude, I think the Jack's Beach PD lady stopped counting at at 700 people, but that was at 5 p.m. So she thinks it was close to 1,000. I'm like, holy hell. So anyways, like partnering with these people and like just giving a shit or a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And it was just like, cool, man. We'll if there's no community around here, we'll just build it, kind of thing. And that's kind of where we are at. And back to your point, like that really makes me happy that people are seeing that, because that's what it's all about. Like we just want to make sure that like us little brands can support each other, and we can give back to, whether it's conservation, whether it's families going through childhood leukemia, through our fundraiser, or through the raffles. and yeah, man, like it's obviously, I think it's working. So
yeah, that's always awesome.
We're stoked on that,
dude. Because it's like, I love everything you're doing on like your Instagram, where it's like Faces of the Marsh. That's super cool, like putting those guys on the spot, like in the spotlight too. And that's just one of those things that it's really good to see, where it's like, we don't have anything like that around here. Given there's really no water other than Lake Norman near us, but it's like, that's just awesome to see, because it's like buddies helping out buddies,
100%, man.
That tight knit group is awesome.
Yeah, man, and like it doesn't just have to be here, because obviously it's expanded. I mean, like we have like Tavares Bradley, for example, man. We become really, really good friends. He's Magnolia Fly on Instagram. Yeah. He lives in Mississippi. He's always coming over here. So it's basically kind of our turn to go his way. So he started the Funky Drummers on Instagram. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's like a page dedicated to black drum, because like I agree with him. Nobody gives black drum, any love. And like they're like the hardest fucking fish to feed, dude. But so anyways, he's like, dude, I want to do like a black drum tournament. I'm like, well, fucking send me up. I'll rally the freaking people here and we'll head your way. But then like what I kind of like I think like to the point, like we've gotten to the point where we went from having very little events to like April, for example. April, we kicked off with Old City Fly Shop's 30-year anniversary, which is super rad to see those guys like be on the 3rd year and, continuing to crush it. Then after that, it was the Golden Isles Fly Fishing Festival, which is a 2-day event up in Brunswick that Jared and his team they just crushed it. I mean, they had, there was like, I think 6 or 8 skiffs there, a ton of vendors. He got Yeti, Pecos Tables, Silent Provisions, Benchmade, Turtle Box to basically sponsor this whole thing, which has turned into like these sandbar parties throughout the entire Georgia coast, like every month during the summer. So that was really neat. The Fly Fishing Film Festival was there. Paul Puckett was playing. Dude, I got to meet people like Blaine Chocolate, the legendary fly tire. That was really rad. And then the following weekend, that was Easter. Then the weekend after that was a Marsh Sessions beer release again. And then the weekend after that, going into May 3rd, was the Afterwork Fish Club post-tournament party up in Charleston. So it was like nonstop. Like I don't think I was home like 2 weekends between, April 1st and May 3rd. But it was cool, man. Like it was cool to see. And then just 2 weeks ago, we were down in New Smyrna for the Lagunian after tournament party with Bahio and those guys. That was also really rad, so it's like, I don't know, man, like it's just I think it's just a matter of just like being present when you can and just being a part of the community. You know?
Heck yeah. Yeah, dude, that Sean Sean and Lewis, dude, just two top notch guys, man.
They
What
really
Sean's
are.
got
Yeah.
going is awesome. What Lewis has going is awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, that damn boat's
That skiff is
badass,
nice
isn't it?
looking.
That thing's freaking
Yeah.
sick.
I was kind of hoping to like get a ride in it at that sandbar party, but they were full. So I rode with Adam from Local Rods
Yeah.
in his BT. But dude, I took a look at it at the sandbar party in Brunswick. It's badass. He's done a really good job.
Dude, it's badass.
Yeah.
That's one of those guys I've been giving him his flowers a lot recently. I've been giving both those guys their flowers because they deserve them.
Yeah.
They're busting
for
their
sure,
asses, and
they're great guys.
they're just great dudes. But yeah,
100%.
dude, that Makooch, what one did he have there? I forget which one.
You don't know.
I forget which one he had there, but it's badass. It wasn't the Endeavor. It might have been the Endeavor.
I don't remember the name because I don't think I ever was told or never asked. I was just like, that's a pretty nice looking skiff.
Yeah, dude, it's a badass skiff.
Yeah.
It is. But we end our shows on this question. Every single one. What are your 5 songs for the Trout Tunes playlist?
The Trout Tunes playlist. All right, man. I actually made a list because I wasn't even caught off guard. And this is basically just like what was on my Spotify earlier this morning. You ever have one of those mornings where you have to I work in tech, and I'm not a fan of Excel, Google Sheets. I don't ever need to use them, but my company acquired a platform which it's requiring me to do some formulas in Excel and that kind of stuff that I wasn't.
Yeah.
So anyways, I've needed music to kind of get me through the horror that is. But all right, in no particular order. All right, Dave Matthews Band 2-Step, but in the listener supported album from 1990, I don't even know what that was, 94 or some shit. It was a long time ago.
2-Step, you said?
Yeah, but the listener supported album, it was from the 90s.
Huh. Oh, listener supported live. Here it is.
Yeah.
99.
99. There you go.
Let's
I was off by a few.
2-Step.
I think it's probably the best version of that song.
Heck yeah. Oh, I had that on my I had that on one of my trout fishing playlists.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Number 2, Nothing to Find by the War on Drugs.
Let's see. Great band.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right. Number 3, Ain't Life Grand, Widespread Panic,
Yes.
but live in Athens.
Yeah, dude. The Panic in the Streets.
Yeah.
Great version of that song. I'm going to see them in Asheville.
Are you?
Yeah.
Nice, man. Yeah, there's nothing like a fucking Panic show, dude.
Yeah,
There's just
nothing like it.
Dude. Especially like when Ortiz does his percussion.
Yeah, dude. It's unbelievable.
It's so sick.
Nothing like it.
Next, Climate Safety, WSB again.
Hell yeah.
And
Dude,
then,
I have a Mikey Hauser, red and black Mikey Hauser flag coming for that back wall.
That's hell yeah, dude. And then the next one, I would say, what is it right here? Ruby Ann Turnpike.
Heck yeah. I love Turnpike Troubadours too.
Yeah, that was my top 5. Again, no particular order, but it's what's been going through my Spotify this week.
Let's see what I had
so far by Tuesday.
All right, I had Superstar by the Carpenters.
Yeah.
Because I'm a huge Chris Farley head.
Yeah.
You ever seen on Tommy Boy where they're driving down the road
Mm-hmm.
and they're singing that song? I was watching that movie the other night. And then this song, I put it on here for one line because he shouts out Connecticut and fly fishing.
Yeah.
It's this white redheaded rapper from Western Massachusetts, DJ Lucas. It's called Again Part 2.
I'll have to look at that.
And then it's then I did the Boston Kenny Chesney, the live version from Gillette Stadium. Ballad of Curtis Lowe, and then Can't You See Marshall Tucker Band.
There you go. So is that all on the playlist?
Yeah, I put all yours on there, and
I'll have to check it out. Is that on Spotify?
Yeah, it's on Spotify. It's called Trout Tunes Season 1. It's SZN for season. Dude, it goes from like one extreme to the next so fast. It's crazy. I've had people be
I'll have to
like,
check that out.
dude, yeah, it's wild. I'll send you a link to it.
Perfect.
But do you have any last sponsor plugs or words that you want to say before we end?
I mean, sponsor plugs. I would say, man, it's been. I mean, the only company I'm really like. Well, there's actually two companies. Bahia Sunglasses, obviously.
Oh yeah,
those guys are super rad. I mean, their glass is great. So that's always been that's been super fun. Like, like partnering with them, but also like getting to meet them.
Yeah.
I think, dude, lately I've been fishing a lot of local rods from Richmond Hill, Georgia. We took Adam's rods to Louisiana last November, fished 3 full days, and literally we beat the shit to 8, 9, 10 weight. Couldn't say better things about those rods. And then I recently got a 7 weight for flood tide season, for when the wind blows, more than my 6 weight can handle. And honestly, I've been fishing the 7 weight a lot because it's just a nice casting rod.
Oh yeah.
So I'd say those plugs there. Shout out to Palomar Fishing for hooking it up with leader material.
Yeah,
that's important.
That is very important. Dude, I actually got a pair of Bahios on the way right now. I broke a pair, and I had the nippers. And I got an email. They were like, "Man, just pick out a new pair. Like, we recommend this pair." That's awesome. They're like, "All right, coming to your door." I was like,
"Oh yeah, I just realized I got this here too. I got like, look at that. Like, don't drop them."
Oh, ooh.
Yeah. So I gotta send them back. But
yeah, dude.
Actually, I've been trying to send them back so much that I just bought a new pair of copper Piedras.
Dude, those copper lenses are perfect for like grassy bottom, like flats fishing.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny because, like, dude, I go to the USPS or UPS like almost daily, shipping out merch and stuff.
Yeah.
But for some odd reason, those glasses have been sitting there for like 6 months. I just can't get it. Dude. I can't get to the Bahia site, do my, whatever I need to do, pay my $40 to, get them. I can't do it. It's just impossible. So it was just easier to order a new pair.
Yeah, dude. That
So I ordered 3 actually. I was like, I'll just get 3 pairs because that way I'm good. I'm covered.
Yeah.
So
yeah, dude. That's what I was like going to ship out some flies to, like, I forget where I was shipping them to. I think it was New Jersey. And I looked, I was like, oh, dude, my Bahios are still shattered. I was like, I'll grab a box and throw them in there and ship them to. And then I got that message.
I'm going to have to get some of your flies, dude. I'll have to order some because we were just on a chat earlier today about, like, what was everybody throwing in the grass this week or whatever. And I'm like, what'd you throw? And I'm like, well, some stuff that I got from Farnham Flies, from Armstrong Flies over in Panama City, Mike Crawford.
Yeah.
He ties really good flies. I'm just like, basically, I officially retired myself from tying flies. Unless it's an emergency and I got to tie one, I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah, dude, that's
so
what.
I can support my buddies.
I'll sit here with my dog almost every night. I'll get on like TikTok or Instagram Live and just shoot the shit with people.
Yeah, there you go.
And
we were shooting some content with the guys from Biscayne Boatworks on Saturday. Yeah. White Neil's a great dude. And we were just like flood tide fishing, and we were like looking through flies, like, oh, who tied that? I'm like, no idea, not me. Who's that? I don't know, not me. Like, they're all beautiful flies, but I'm like, yeah, better than anything I can tie. So,
dude, I'll send you some, dude. I'll tie some up and send them your way. Are you deadhead by any chance?
Yeah,
I got Steely stickers coming with my logo. I'll send you a few.
No way.
Yeah.
Dude, all right, I'll send some stuff up your way.
All right, sounds good, dude. But
yeah,
that was Javier, also known as Javi. But thank you for coming on, man. Greatly appreciate it.
That was fun.
All right, what's up, guys? That was Javi with Marsh Sessions. What a cool episode. Just an awesome time. We got Maverick in the back here. You got anything to say for the pod, big guy? Man, a few words. But before we end, save 10% on your Riversmith order. Use decode Wrangler10 on any of the Convoy series, the River Quivers, anything like that they make, hats, shirts. anything. All their stuff's really nice. The River Quiver, just a game changer to the fly fishing industry. Keeps your rods protected, won't snap any rods, which is ultimately the end goal of the day is to not crack a rod. So get your River Quiver with the code Wrangler10 and go check out their stuff. Until Friday, get through the week first and foremost, and just have a good time. Catch some fish, tag me in whatever you catch, and always like and subscribe to hear more from the podcast. And I'm out.